Okay, so you've got your names named a little bit better. You've got some timers in here that make more sense. We do have a view results tree that just shows us that things are running. Will show us if things are good or bad, but really that's about it. And we need some more data back that so we can analyze it and do more with it. So we're going to add those now. So it depends on where you want to put things. You can put things on the thread group itself, or you want to put them on as an overall. In these tests, we want to put these charts and graphs on the overall test itself. So I like to fold the thread group up and just come to the top, and I'm going to add a listener. And the first thing I want to do is I want to add a summary report. And this summary report will give us some information. It's the label information, the number of samples it's done, the average, the minimum, the maximum, standard deviation, error percentage, throughput, etc., etc. And I also want to add another listener that will provide a response time chart. And yeah, that's the one I want. And so this is the same thing. It gives us a chart. There's no values yet, so it really can't show us anything. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to, now if we run one test, it will only give us one result. There's nothing to graph with that. There won't be much to chart. So we're going to pump this up a little bit. We're going to make 10 tests, and we're going to run these tests 10 times in a loop of 10. I'm going to put it on the view tree. Let's clear everything off, start it from the beginning. And this time we're going to use the timers. We want everything to time up. I might cut away during the tests or maybe speed it up and come back when it's done. Okay, we have finished the test. It's completed running. You can see these buttons are back from being red here to green. And you can see this is a whole list of each of the events, all they ran. They're all green, meaning that there was no errors. And so we're good. And so we can look at the summary report. So when we did our thread groups, we did 10 users. And each of those 10 users did the test 10 times. So that should give us 100 results. So there should be 100 samples for each page, the total of 500. This shows us the average um, for each of the tests. Now you'll see that there is this fourth one here. This is the reservation test. This is the overall capture. So what it does is where this information is being recorded for each one of these pages, this is the overall test, and it will group that whole set of events together and give you a more uh, you know a complete sense of what's going on. So we can kind of and we'll look at evaluating these tests later, but it gives you another piece of data to look at to kind of figure out if things are going awry in when you start running your tests. This is a response time graph. What we do is we go in here, we can configure it however we want, click the display button, and then it produces its set of results. So here's everything here. This will show you the different, these are the different pages. This is the reservation test, this purple one here, and you can see it's going to be the most overall because it's got more stuff. It has all the pages, so it's going to be a sum of all of its parts. And it's interesting here, and we look at it. So the first time it's run, we can run through the whole test in that first few seconds, and we get a pretty good response time probably for the first one or two of them, right? We can run through the whole thing in a matter of seconds. Um, However, as we go along and there's more users on the systems, more threads running, you can see the response times get slower and slower. And this we can look and say, well, what's the cause of this? Where should we start with dealing with these slowness factors in our pages? And right here, we're seeing this one right here. This is the landing page, these black dots, the black lines. Um, and that makes sense when we think of it, because when we set the test up, we set it up not to cache anything. So on the first page, the first thing it's going to do is load up any of the files it needs to show the page, whether it's jQuery, whether it's any kind of CSS pages, maybe it's Bootstrap, who knows. Whatever you're using to build your pages, it's going to get all dumped in at one time on your first page. So your initial page usually should take the longest. And you can see, and perhaps this could be a bunch of different things, but here's a bump right here at this time where, again, for whatever reason, and it could be a bunch of different things, but here again it bumps up and there's a whole bunch of time being spent right here, and then on and on. Now, there's some things missing from this, I believe. One of the things that I would like to see in this is the number of users over this time. How many users were active here? How many were here? Maybe there was a whole bunch of overlapping tests at this point, and maybe there was some tests, users from one test, and they overlapped with their second group of tests. So maybe that's what caused that. We don't know specifically what the problem is, but we just see that it jumped up a little bit, and so we need to figure out how to analyze that.